You have no conception of the power they wield.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So, as you just saw, we have a brand new look at the second season of The Wheel of Time. Albeit a very short one at the space of maybe 2 or 3 seconds. But within it, there is a lot to unpack, a lot to unravel, shall we say. So, without further ado, let's jump right in and break down this very brief scene from season 2, shot for shot. Now, I want to actually start with something which is really interesting to me, and to me it seemingly confirmed a few things I thought when we were shown the brand new poster for season 2 yesterday. And that is, of course, that the one power between saidin and saidar now is coloured, which I think is a fantastic addition and change going in from season 1 to season 2, and it's something I believe they should have been doing since the beginning. I think they've finally gotten, I don't know, someone on board that can do what the kind of designers had envisioned, and I think it's just a really great way to bring an extra bit of life to the show, make it look a bit more vibrant. And not only that, of course, they're going to now be able to showcase the difference between saidin and saidar with how male and female channelers obviously have and take control over the one power. Now, what is something left up to kind of discussion and interpretation within this is whether these particular weaves that Egwene is using in this very brief clip, whether it's to do with how they're showcasing the one power as a whole, or are we going to get separate colours that obviously represent the 5 threads of the one power, which are, of course, fire, earth, air, water and spirit. Now that is something left up, I suppose, slightly for interpretation, but having had a little bit more time to sit with this footage and watch it, I do feel this is very much a case of it being representing the different threads that the one power has, I should say. And I think in particular with this video, you can see within the clip of Egwene's kind of channeling of her weave, it starts off with what you could describe as a earthy tone of a colour, and I think that's perhaps what she's wielding, and then there's a bit of fire as well involved in that. So I think we're seeing 2 of the 5 threads at play here within this very brief clip of Egwene channeling the one power, which I think is really cool, and it's something I'm so happy to see that they've actually done and they've changed for the second season. We also get a very brief look at Rand tied up on what is quite ironic, a great big wheel. Now, there's a lot of discussion and interpretation here left for us as individuals and as a collective. Now, for me, people are saying, and I've seen this in the comments on Twitter, is this their way of doing the kind of box scene? Now, I personally do not think that is what is at play here. I believe this is something else that's just been kind of created for the show. What's going on within here, it's very hard to say. I think this could be a scene maybe when Rand is maybe at some point captured. I know that seems a bit far-fetched because he's never really captured in the Great Hunt or in the Dragon Reborn, but I feel like this could be the lead up to his final confrontation at the end of season 2 with Ishmael, or as he is known to be, the Dark One in the show and series at that point in time. And I think he could have been captured by the Shaunchan, and I think that might be what's at play here. But of course, it could certainly be their way of bringing the kind of box scene out into the open much earlier on than we anticipated. But I just feel it's hilarious to me that we've got Rand tied up on a reel, as you can obviously quite easily understand and imagine. And then, as we saw at the beginning of the 3-second clip, we have a new look at Moiraine in her hometown of Cairhien. Now, it's interesting, there's not an awful lot to take in terms of visuals here. It's just like a panning shot of Moiraine. But what I find interesting is more along the lines of her actual dialogue that we see from her or hear from her as well in the very next clip, where she's like, you do not know the power that they possess.
You have no conception of the power they wield.
You don't have a conception of the power they wield. Now, there's two things she could be talking about here. One, which I think is the least likeliest of the two that I have going through my mind right now, is she's talking about the Saunchen invasion and the Saunchen in general. Because of course, as we know, they capture Sedai or wielders of the One Power and use them for their advantage in their armies. Now, there is an understanding that that could possibly be what she's talking about, but I think the much more likely group of people she is talking about is without a doubt the Forsaken, particularly when you think back to how the end of season 1 ended with her being shielded by Ishmael in the Great Blight. I think with her now having the knowledge that obviously the Dark One's seals have started to break, and of course with that comes the releasing of the Forsaken, it's very much without a doubt going to be the Forsaken she's talking about. And maybe even at this point within the second season, where this clip of her talking about people don't understand or comprehend the power that they wield, she might maybe perhaps have already had her first kind of meeting of Lanfear. That I think is a far stretch, but it's a possibility, particularly when you consider the fact Moiraine's arc has completely changed from where it is in the books to how it's in the show. So that is another thing that could be at play as well. Right guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you've all enjoyed this impromptu video this Wednesday, and I'll catch you all more than likely over the next couple of days because of WhatCon 2023.